What up, everyone? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode is brought to you by JB Weld. It's the world's strongest bond. Listen, pros have trusted this stuff for over 50 years, but you don't even need a pro half the time when you've got JB Weld's adhesive products. They make it so easy to do it yourself. When I need to get some home improvement done, I turn to JB Weld. Whether it's a DIY project, an automotive repair, plumbing, marine, or more, projects, big or small, glass, ceramics, anything you could think of, pretty much, JB Weld products have something for you. Keep it in the toolbox, keep it in the truck, keep it in the kitchen drawer. It'll always come in handy right when you need it. And speaking of trucks, JB Weld just acquired Herculiner, the original DIY truck bed liner. So if you're looking for the world's strongest truck bed liner, Herculiner's got you covered there as well. So go be your strongest self. Use JB Weld, the world's strongest bond. JB Weld epoxy products are proudly made in the USA and are available at jbweld.com, Walmart, Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's, AutoZone, Advance Auto Parts, Napa, O'Reilly's, Michaels, and more. JB Weld, the world's strongest bond. We love the stuff around here. Here's an old familiar one. Haven't heard from him in a while, but man, do we love us. And Autotempest.com was there for us when we needed them. And this episode is brought to you by Auto Tempest, the one-stop shop for busy people looking to buy their next used car. Why is it for busy people? Because it brings all the used car sites on the internet to one place, saving you a ton of time. I talk to people about this all the time, and I should know, because all I have is my time. My time is my money. I sell my time. And if you can save time in your own life, therefore, transitive property, time is money, you save money. And I'm talking about Auto Tempest has nationwide listings from Cars.com, Cars Soup, Cars Direct, TrueCar, eBay Motors, all brought in one place. They also let you compare with the results of all of Craigslist, not just a 200-mile radius. But that's not all. Auto Tempest is continuously improving, adding new sources of listings, new search filters, and most recently, adding search alerts so you can sign up to get emails when new listings matching your search show up. Guys, we're all busy people. Searching for your dream car shouldn't feel like a chore. Save the headache and enjoy your new car sooner with Autotempest.com. They've got all the cars in one search. Go to Autotempest.com/TST so they know that we sent you. Autotempest.com/TST. And we're brought to you today by Keeper Security, the leading cybersecurity platform for protecting individuals, families, and businesses against password-related cyber attacks, aka hacking. The fact is, you, me, everyone, we have too many passwords. Our life runs on passwords. And it's real easy to get lazy and reuse simple, familiar, trite passwords. And if you're running the same password over multiple accounts or cycling 1 to 3 fairly weak passwords, you are setting yourself up for a hack. If you're wasting time in the password reset loop, that's where you make a password, you don't log in for a while, you forget the password, you got to reset it again, and then you repeat until the end of time, you are doing it wrong. And if you're worried about your finances, the cost of a yearly Keeper subscription is absolutely nothing compared to the cost of a data breach. Not to mention when you got hacked, you have to worry about stopping payments, getting refunds, changing all of your bills, and on and on. What a nightmare. And when you get a new device, forget about it. It takes forever to re-log in to all of our apps and accounts again. You got to reset your phone, do it all over again. Nope. Keeper creates strong, unique passwords for every account wherever you log in, like you know you should, but then you keep them stored safely in your own encrypted vault. All you have to do is remember your master password, which also works with Face or Fingerprint ID, and you can access all of your strong passwords without having to actually remember them all. This keeps your information safe from hackers, gives you peace of mind. This is why every time I make a new account, I go to Keeper Security. This thing is great. We can't cancel passwords. They are part of our life. They're here to stay, but Keeper can make them manageable. Listeners of the Smoking Tire Podcast are going to get 30% off Keeper Unlimited and Family Plans. So use promo code SMOKINGTIRE30. That's promo code SMOKINGTIRE30 at checkout, or visit Keeper.com keeper.io/smokingtire to learn more. So that's Keeper, and use code SMOKINGTIRE30 at checkout, or keeper.io/smokingtire to learn more. This is a really helpful thing, guys. Make it a part of your life. Get your brain power back and exit that password loop. Keeper is the jam. And last but never, ever least, just parked in our number 4 position, my folks at Tradecraft Farms. Boy, have they got some new hotness on the shelves right now. Just dropped it off at the crib, and whoa! The finest THC and CBD products in Southern California, bar none. Absolutely, bar none. If it's legal where you're at, or you've come to California to visit us, kind folk out here, dude, grab some for yourself. But if you can't do that, if life doesn't turn that way, or if it's not legal where you're at, just give Tradecraft Farms a follow on Instagram. Tradecraft_farms on Instagram. Beautiful, pretty pictures, right? And if you live where this kind of stuff is mainstream right now, by all means, visit one of their retail locations or ask for it at your local dispensary. Tradecraft Farms is the official THC and CBD products of the Smoking Tire Podcast. All right, on this episode of the show, one of my favorite people in automotive journalism, one of a very small number of people I am willing to share a press car with on a launch, from thedrive.com, where she is running the editorial new car shindig over there, my great friend back in studio for the first time in over 2 years, Kristen Lee. Kristen Lee is in the studio for the first time since this studio, and wearing a really dope Speedmaster. I really like your Speedmaster. Is so great for you.
Thank you.
It really fits your style so well.
It's a dude's watch, but I think it doesn't matter.
Fuck that. I think now it's so fashionable for men to wear smaller sized watches and for women to wear bigger sized watches that the overlap is totally there. Anything between 36 and 40 is fair game.
The only watches I don't like are the little jewelry bracelet ones. I'm not even old, but I can't.
That's
see
like
the
for
time
the cocktail dress thing, though.
I wore this to a
well, you could, but that's
Dresses up and
I mean, you could.
Right,
it's gauche.
you could. And I could wear a GMT under a tux and would, but like that's not what like someone who's super stylish would tell me to do.
I think those people can get fucked.
Ooh.
I mean, I could take a public plane at times too. But why would you?
I flew here on Delta Comfort Plus.
I guess things have really taken a downturn.
Oh man, I stayed at the Mall of America last night, so I know culture.
How is it as gigantic as everybody says?
Fucking huge.
It's a hotel. There's a hotel in the fucking mall.
That's the hotel I stayed in.
That's
the
insane.
Radisson Mall of America.
Isn't there also a ride? Or am I thinking about something
I didn't
else?
get to the Mall of America until very late, until like 8:50. And so other than walking into a hall and like looking around for a second and then going into the hotel, it closed at 9. I didn't have a chance to really peruse.
What a weird
But the hotel was in the mall, yeah. It was,
good for them, because retail is dying now.
You know what was very interesting? I was hanging out with someone who you probably have heard of. His name is Adam LZ. He's a YouTuber, and his lovely girlfriend and equally accomplished Colette Davis, who I had dinner with last night after all of us getting drive some Porsches at the track. Adam, who I think is 26, he's in his 20s. He's young.
Yep, makes me feel bad every day.
He's young, and
29.
he had
No, never mind.
He had literally no idea what the Mall of America was. This is every once in a while I meet a young person that fucking dates the shit out of me. And this kid, he is the sweetest guy. I really like hanging out with him and Colette. It was so fun. But he had no idea what the Mall of America was. Straight up.
You should ask him about the Titanic next and tell him it was real.
There was some other shit he didn't know too. That I don't want to blow up his spot. But apparently that's like a thing. Him missing cultural references and just not knowing things.
I was going to apologize after this. We love you. We're not.
No, it was funny at the time.
Funny.
He just like, even Colette was like, the Mall of America, the biggest mall in America. Like he's like, we don't go to malls.
Yeah,
we don't care about malls.
You just order things through Amazon.
He's from here, right?
He's American.
Okay.
Florida, yeah.
All right, Florida?
He's from Connecticut, but lives in
right.
Florida. Yeah.
Connecticut?
Connecticut.
That's Mall
But
Central.
like you'd think, I mean, yeah, he knows what malls are. He just
But just
doesn't.
not the mall.
He doesn't know that the Mall of America it was the biggest mall, or why anyone would give a shit. Which
He
is
has a
fair.
point. He has
That is a
good
very
point. Yeah.
fair point. It
But
is
it's just like
peak mediocrity of American culture.
I just don't know what it's like to be young enough to not know what the Mall of America is.
Well, now that makes me scared. What don't I know that you guys know?
I don't know. Do you know why Seinfeld is funny, or are you too young,
Well, we
to
talked
think
about this
Seinfeld?
last
Oh,
time.
we are?
We talked
Okay.
about this last time. And
How did
no,
we end up here again then?
You like Seinfeld a lot, I guess.
I like talking about how old I am relative to the young people. I guess I don't
Well,
know.
it's good that you hang out with young people. You know,
Yeah, it keeps
you
me
young.
gray. Yeah.
it just kind of osmosis out of me and into you
Yes,
guys.
it does. You bring out some youth.
Yeah.
I agree. What have you been driving recently in your
I
gig?
had-
I've seen your Instagram feed.
Oh
It's
man,
tasty.
it's been a good couple of months. The first was the Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport.
Oh, the black and gray one.
No, the blue one.
Oh,
They
oh,
canceled
that
that
one.
one for reasons. So this is the one
Wait.
I ended up with.
They can't. Oh, they canceled
the gray one.
Oh, they probably just sold it, or it
Probably.
mileaged out or something. But
Maybe.
yeah, the blue is super sick.
Yeah, the blue is cool.
Is it
Yeah.
the blue carbon, like the very expensive paint job blue carbon?
I can't remember. This one was slightly less money than the gray one.
Oh.
It was like
So it probably was not bare carbon.
it was like
then.
$200,000 less than the gray one.
So it's just like regular paint. Boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what was nice it had the carbon package on it.
Yeah.
So
there's a
all the
lot.
carbon details I thought were really, really nice. It was a terrifying experience. It was
Were you
scary.
intimidated by it?
Yeah.
Other than how expensive it was, were you intimidated by it? If you
No.
just think about driving it and turning and
No.
it's normal, right?
It's normal, but it's also very big. So there's a lot of stuff to account for and keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
The wheels are pushed out all the way to the corners and they're giant. So are these wheels. Also, you can't see out the back at all.
True.
And it's really low.
Yes.
And the belt line is very high. But very airy in the cabin because
It's
of
roomy.
that $60,000
Oh, did you have the glass roof?
Yeah, the glass roof.
Yeah, the glass roof is cool. It's a beautiful car.
It
It's
is nice.
really-
It makes all
really
kinds
sick.
of cool noises.
It does. It makes noises that other cars don't really make.
No, the closest one I can think is the GTR in terms of just
Yeah, kind of.
whirring, banging noises, transmission clunks, stuff like
The
that.
clunks are you don't the clunks like don't come into the cabin. You just kind of like hear them sort of going on.
You can kind of feel them in where the transmission tunnel is. It feels like a very, very tactile thing, which I didn't expect.
A mechanical thing.
Yeah.
Yes, they haven't dialed it out like an Audi.
No.
You do. I mean, it's 1,500 horsepower, so there's only so much you can massage that out. I mean,
The metal has to be very sturdy.
Yes.
That connects
Yeah.
the wheels to that. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
The
one
guy.
of the-
Was Jamie with you?
Butch.
Oh, Butch.
Butch.
What a great guy to go with a Bugatti.
Letzing?
Oh, Leitzinger. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that guy.
Oh, that's a real racing driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
He's
cool.
cool. He's
Yeah.
really nice.
Jamie, who was with us, was saying that pretty much like they can't make the car any lighter. Like it's just
No.
the powertrain is just so heavy. Like the actual chassis weighs very, very little. It's made by Dallara.
Well, I asked Butch how much the Chiron, how much weight it saves over the standard, the Pure Sport, how much weight the Pure Sport saves, and he was like, "Oh, it's like 100
It's 100 kilograms,
Yeah.
maybe. Or-
Yeah,
yeah.
It's nothing because there's nothing to trim.
And they have to do a lot to save. I mean, it's expensive to
Yeah.
save that, to cut that kind of weight out of a car.
And what's cool is they gave it, I think, 2.5 degrees of negative camber.
Yeah.
I remember this because I just wrote it. And you can actually see it if you stand outside the car.
Yeah.
You don't think 2.5 degrees is a lot, but you can see it.
Yeah. I don't think, when's Cayenne GT driving impressions? Not available, right? I can't talk about Cayenne GT.
Is that the V8 one?
It's the super
They're all
fast.
V8
It's a
ones.
super. No, the
I mean,
the
they're-
regular ones are twin turbo sixes.
I know, but the good ones.
It's the one that just did a
that one,
738
yeah.
on the Nürburgring. It's running 1.5 degrees of negative camber. And I didn't get the photo, but Mike Harley just posted the photo on his Instagram. He drove it into a dirt turnout. To get photos or
Yeah.
whatever. And the outer, 2 inches of the wheels have no dirt on them. They're just not even touching exact. You find the Michael Harley, it's just Michael, I believe, on Instagram. Yep, that's him. You should give Michael Harley a follow. He's a good Instagram follow. Where is that picture? It was there.
It might be.
Oh, it's part of a
the
slideshow.
carousel.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Oh, wow.
There,
Are
look.
those-
It's so dirt on the outside of the wheels. Isn't that hilarious?
Wow. So much camber.
Like he drove it into a dirt lot, and there's like tire shine 2 inches into the treads.
Oh, I love
it's
it.
so funny.
Were those titanium exhausts?
Yes.
Yes. It saves some weight. The Cayenne GT
Ounces.
is 24 pounds lighter than a Cayenne Turbo.
Yeah. Just that much.
24.
I was
24
disappointed
whole
in that
pounds.
number, to be honest.
Hmm.
Carbon roof,
630 horsepower.
titanium exhaust, 24 pounds.
I feel
sounds
like that's
good.
COVID.
Don't pick up a turkey
Not a
on the way
driving
home,
impression.
otherwise
Yeah,
you're...
that's some COVID weight gain. It's negligible.
Exactly.
You know what I hate about it? It's not a driving impression. That the exhausts are in the center.
It looks weird.
We don't need
Oh,
to do
it's-
that in an SUV. You
push them
can't.
out.
You can't. I'm standing there fucking with the cameras, and the thing is running because it's 95 degrees outside, and it's just smoking my legs.
I think it also looks strange.
I think
looks
that's
strange.
Because they're not
sign.
centered. There's like a foot between them.
Yeah,
so
they're just
they're not
closer.
centered like a GT3 or something. Yeah,
Right.
it's just closer, so it's kind of awkward. It's this
Yeah.
middle ground.
I think that's a sign for you to stop wearing shorts.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
what?
do you know where we live?
Don't wear shorts.
That was a sign for you to stop wearing shorts.
Is that like a fashion critique? That
No,
like
I'm just saying.
do you know how hot it is up there when
it's
I'm
burning
fucking
your
filming
legs?
these cars? It's like
Get ripped-
95
get ripped
degrees up
jeans.
there. What?
Get ripped jeans.
Ripped jeans. I
There,
suppose.
there's your
Nino
culture.
could probably sell me a pair.
There's your youth culture for the day. Get some ripped
The
jeans,
less-
and then all the boomers will be forced to make comments on your
Oh
jeans.
my God! Imagine I wore the kind of jeans that like a 24-year-old girl
Hey,
is wearing
mom
right
jeans.
now.
Mom
Like
jeans are
these
back.
jeans?
Yes.
Terrible.
Where are these jeans? I bought them like this.
You want to hear something really embarrassing? This is really embarrassing. This is from high school. My first tattoo is right here. It's on my
Okay.
thigh. It's
Okay.
it's pretty ghetto. It's an onk.
It's an onk?
It's an onk
Yeah.
on my thigh. It's pretty ghetto. But I wanted to like show it off, but it was, under my clothes. And I found a way to sort of strategically get a rip in my jeans in that area.
Did you like? Cut
I didn't
your
cut
jeans?
it, but maybe I did. It's not something I've talked about really in 25 years, but it's
No, I like it.
But I did do that.
I like it. I think the onk is cool. I like
It was
the
fun. You know what it was? I used to wear one as a necklace, and so for like 10 years I wore it as a necklace. I got it as like and I had it. I don't know.
Were you into Egypt culture?
No, I don't even think I know what it meant. I think someone just gave it to me, and I wore it, and then I lost it, and then I wanted to get a first tattoo, and I
You
thought
won't lose
about
that
that.
one.
No shit. And it has the name of my first sailboat written in the thing. That's not just like lines.
You know what? Same.
Your first sailboat?
I've had many sailboats.
I mean, listen, it's part of white male culture. You must. Welcome,
Rite of
welcome to
passage.
manhood. Here's your sailboat. I mean,
Go forth.
They call it the
well,
Connecticut
actually,
Briss.
it was my first sailboat was a bar mitzvah gift. So literally, welcome to. It was little. It wasn't like a fucking yacht. It was a little like a sunfish. It was a little sailboat that like kids sail.
It's like a boogie board with a sail.
It was still a very nice gift. Don't get me wrong. I was appreciative,
Was
but like
your-
it wasn't like
was your
some
bar mitzvah-
hugely
was your
extravagant.
bar mitzvah like just this big lit thing that I'm imagining?
If you're here, I have the album I can show you later. But it was sailing themed. I was into sailing. It was
Okay.
sailing themed, and it was at the country club, as it were. And it seemed pretty boss at the time, though. Flipping through the album recently, I don't think it was all that boss.
In
And
what?
the DJ in particular was
He dressed like a Navy man.
the DJ in particular was like a 45-year-old white guy in a suit and very dark wraparound sunglasses that found his way into the background of every single photograph.
How was the sailing theme involved? Were there like ropes?
Yeah, no, like pennant flags. The sailboat itself that they got me was brought into the bar mitzvah
That's
thing.
the
and
equivalent of walking the pony in
yes, it
to
was.
the party.
Guess
But less
who
smelly.
got a pony?
Did you also get a pony?
My sister did.
Oh my god, I didn't even.
My sister was an incredibly accomplished horseback rider with that horse, by the way.
No,
She didn't,
I don't doubt
she
it.
didn't squander the horse gift. She made good use of the horse gift, but
I
she
don't doubt
actually,
it, but I see
my gift
these-
didn't eat.
Yeah. Or shit.
My gift didn't eat for 15 years, and hers did.
But is a horse more maintenance or is a boat more maintenance?
A horse.
A horse?
A horse eats
I've heard some
$150 of food a week.
But a sunfish is like a bathtub. It's not like a motorized yacht are definitely.
Look it up, Zach. I got a laser. It was called a laser. It was a race. It's a racing dinghy. There's a spec. It's a spec boat. It's like Spec Miata. It was like the Spec Miata.
I'm only
sailboats.
making this face because I like making fun of you.
Yeah, that one right there. Right, any one of those.
I'm teasing. I think that type of sailing is really cool. It looks really hard, and also I could never do it.
It's so. Well, first off, you could. Not only could you do it, I could teach you how to do it in one day. Sailing is very easy.
Even a person who gets as badly seasick as me.
Well, that's a whole different issue.
That's
but the
the
skill
reason
itself, you could learn in one day. I guarantee.
That's the one
you.
where you just lean on either side and.
You're the ballast.
Yeah,
Yeah. So in this
Words.
picture, this girl's feet are under the strap, and she's leaning out to counterbalance the wind of the weight of the pressure of the wind. If depending on how strong the wind is, you have to lean out more or less. But like, this shit was so fun. These boats go really fast.
Yeah.
That thing in a big wind, that laser would do like 18, 19 knots. Like that's like 20 miles an hour.
That's really
It's
fast in the
mobbing. It was
water.
great. Really, really fun.
Was that your first, I guess, foray into speed then, was sailing?
Go-karting?
Go-karting?
When I was a kid? What was your first foray into speed?
Backseat of my dad's car.
Did your dad go real fast?
Yeah. He used to, in the C32.
Oh.
He used to drive us to Saturday school, and he drove me, my brother, and two of our friends, and we'd hit the highway, and he'd hit 100, and then my friends would go to their friends, their parents, and be like, Mr. Lee went 100. It was so cool.
Would they get phone calls?
Oh, yeah. My mom was like, you went 100 miles an hour with someone else's kids in your car. So he stopped
Listen,
doing
it's a
that.
finely tuned German automobile. Did he have all kinds of rationale for it?
It was perfectly fine. And also, we had to get to Chinese school on time. I don't know.
In hindsight, if you had a kid now and you had a press car, like an M3 press car, like wouldn't you go 100 for a second with
I
a kid in the
wouldn't
car
tell them.
and feel safe about it? I would.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, watch this. Then just do it really fast. And then be like, wasn't that cool? That's your moment.
If you drive extra slow with your kids in the car, you're a hazard. You're more of
That
a
is a
hazard than
hazard.
someone driving 100 with their kids in the car.
My buddy has an Alpha Giulia quad, and he said he sort of raced a McLaren on the highway, which means the McLaren wasn't really trying. But he pulled
raced.
up and he pointed the back, and the guy in the McLaren was like, "Nice car." And he looked, and his kid was sleeping in the back in the Recaro seat, and I was like, "4 doors too." And then,
I was at Cal Speedway a couple years ago, and I saw a well-used Porsche 959 in like a metallic purple color with 2 Recaro baby seats in the back, and track day stickers on the side of it. Like,
Wow.
dude was like, I have my 959. I can put both kids in it, and I'm taking it to track days at Fontana.
Legend.
Good.
Like,
Good
wow,
for him.
no fucks are given.
That guy lives.
Yeah, right.
So do those kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids, I saw a video on Instagram the other day of a guy letting his 6-year-old shift his F40.
Aw,
Seemed
that's
pretty
sweet.
G. Kid was doing a nice job.
That's sweet.
Yeah. What else you drive that's delightful recently or terrible? As it were?
People
Anything
always
terrible?
people always ask that. They're like, "Is there a terrible car?" And you know this. There are no terrible cars unless it's a modified car. Because that can be done terribly.
Yeah, you
But-
can ruin a car pretty easily.
But stock cars, by and large these days,
It's hard to find one that's terrible.
Yeah.
I've driven a couple things that were pretty awful. I mean, most things you can buy that have 3 wheels are not remotely worth the danger in terms of experience.
I have to
A
agree.
Morgan 3-wheeler is the only one that is.
I rode an Alex Royce. That's the only Morgan experience I have. I drove the Vanderhall Venice once, and I thought it was fine. I actually liked the way it drove. What I didn't like was how my face was right level with an 18-wheeler's wheels. That's what I didn't like. So I would encourage anyone who has that get a full face helmet instead of the little trendy, whatever the open face one.
The ping pong helmet?
Yeah.
I don't know if the full face is going to stop the 18-wheeler from...
I think your head
Oh, just
getting
picking up a
crushed either
rock or
way.
something.
Oh, that's
I don't know.
true.
That's what I was worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drove the Elva with a helmet on the street, and then I went up to the canyons. I took the helmet off, and it was awesome. It was the best. But
Good cars. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Oh no, did you drive Bronco?
Yeah.
I was. You were with Zach, right?
No, we missed each other,
Missed each other by a day.
It was bullshit.
What was your take on Bronco?
I liked it.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
version did you have a go in?
The street aspect of it was a 2-door Badlands with the 7-speed manual.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how
the
was the
red one.
manual?
It's very nice. The gears need to be taller. First and second are so short. 'Cause light turns green, speed limit's 40 miles an hour. You're like, I need to shift so much, and everyone is going faster than me.
And you've only got the small engine with the manual, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you can just start in third.
No, at this moment in time, yes. I don't know what else is coming because obviously Ford will not comment on future product. But if you put the 7-speed with the V6, that's pretty sweet.
I could see that being
ride.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
This 2-door one on your Instagram, that is a great looking vehicle.
Dude, the 2-door looks awesome.
That looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks way better than the 4-door one. I think the Defender, same thing. The 2-door Defender looks G as fuck.
Proportions on this in 2-door, I think, are perfect.
Amazing.
Have you seen one in person yet?
A Bronco?
Yeah.
No.
They're fucking huge.
Really?
Yeah. You
Like
walk up
tall,
to it.
huge?
Tall, huge, wide. I don't know if it's because I'm small or something, but I walked up to this thing and it felt like it was too big for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was like if you had one on more regular wheels.
Yeah.
That one's got some meaty ass like 33s or something on
Yeah.
it. 35s. What are those, Zach? Do you know?
Depends on the
What size-
package. There's so
Do you know
many
what size tire
packages,
those are?
dude.
Badlands trim. I don't know if it had the Sasquatch.
Pop quiz, hot
Sasquatch
shot.
comes with 37s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That doesn't look like 37.
I think those might have been 30.
33s.
Yeah.
30 what?
It might have been 35,
4,
33s.
yeah.
Can't remember at this point.
They're pretty beastie.
Yeah.
I really like the helicopter bars on top. The things like on the bars that you can like toe strap shit to on top
Yeah,
of the
you
hood.
can.
That stuff is great.
They help you line up,
They
the
do.
tires on when you're off-roading, which is very helpful,
Can't
like sight
see.
lines. I mean, a lot like the G-Wagon has the reflectors, but those you can also tie stuff to because they'll hold like 150 pounds of tension.
Yeah,
So
see,
if you
I'm
put a
thinking for like canoe.
It's
Canoe
That's
on
exactly
the
what
roof.
it's for. Yeah.
We really need to do the Jeff Zwart canoe trip.
Sure.
The Jeff
That'd be
Zwart
sweet.
canoeing. He's invited us to go canoeing with him.
That's sweet.
And he uses this carbon fiber canoe that weighs 20 pounds. He straps to the roof of his 356 Porsche, and goes up to the top of a mountain, and then hikes like 5 miles with the canoe on his back.
How long is it?
Canoe length. It's a fucking long
he
canoe.
hikes with it?
There's a photo of it. Zach's got it right there. In the images, look to the right. There it is. It's like a
Oh my
fucking
goodness.
canoe. Yeah. Yeah.
He hikes with it?
Yeah, because it doesn't weigh anything. It's carbon.
I'm just trying to think of what orientation he straps it.
Lengthwise, and he kind of has to like.
It's got straps like inside.
so you have to.
Yeah. So
You
it's
have
kind
to
of like a
hunch over
backpack.
a little bit, but it's got a rigging thing so that you don't have to like totally hunchback wearing it.
Okay, I could get behind that.
There's the length picture. It's longer than the car. It's a fucking whole canoe. It's
I
amazing.
think you said it
right?
weighs like 12 pounds.
Yeah, it's super light.
So,
love it.
So
And
rad.
actually, I looked into it. I was so impressed. They are not that expensive.
Really?
I mean, considering what you would think
What's
at 12,
not that expensive?
the low 4 figures.
I don't know why I asked that. I don't have any canoe
I mean,
references in my head.
I don't know. If you told me you had a carbon fiber canoe that weighed 12 pounds, I think it was like 10 grand or
I
something.
would guess $12,000.
No, it's like $2,000. That's like a lot cheaper
You know,
than
that
I would have
actually
guessed.
costs less than the roof nest car tent things. Those things are $3,000.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You went camping for the first time.
On top of a car.
On
That
top
didn't
of a
really
car.
Car
count.
camping? Did
Yeah.
you enjoy it?
I liked it because I was away from the bugs.
What kind of car?
It was a Telluride with a roof nest on top of it. And it was nice.
And sleeping in the air was good for you?
Yeah. I mean, we were in the wilderness in Vermont, so the house is in the wilderness, so it was just more open than
Just in the front yard.
Oh, you
Basically, it was in the backyard.
Okay.
You could see the house if you kind of stuck your head out the tent and looked directly behind the car.
Our shift talkers argument would have been different had I known all these facts.
Yeah. So van camping versus rooftop camping.
I haven't van camped.
I don't know. I feel like
You guys went van camping. didn't
Yeah,
you?
and I was a little disappointed by the experience.
Oh.
Because it wasn't as clean and like I think a Range Rover with a rooftop tent and a kitchen that you could tow would probably be more fun.
Well, those slide out racks with kitchens are really cool.
They're awesome.
Those are pretty rad.
But like actually doing the off-roading part in the van was like not that great because it's so tall
Yeah.
that it's like really like swayy.
I didn't want to say this because I didn't have the information when you guys were talking about it last time, but I hung up the call and I thought to myself, that sounds intriguing, but also not great.
What, the van thing?
Yeah, your van thing.
I think that is a great description. Intriguing, but not that great.
In concept could be awesome. In execution,
I think that with the right van that was really dialed in, and you really need a really, really excellent packing strategy that comes from experience. You know what I mean? Like a really good packing strategy.
maybe people who make boats, because their whole job is strapping things down so it doesn't move.
Correct.
So those people should get together.
I would consult the yacht industry for this. Having a yacht, renting a yacht, I think, and doing that thing is a lot more fun and rewarding than having a van and going overlanding.
I think that's why more people do yacht stuff than van overlanding stuff.
Just a lot of fucking overland vans around here. If you had to do a census of overland vans in LA County versus yachts in LA County marinas, I bet you'd be pretty close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really?
Fuck yeah, dude. These things are parked all over the
Yeah.
place around here. The last year and a half has been insane for that business.
It really has
less
been.
maintenance than a yacht too.
Hopefully.
I think I think like you said, boats, the sea is trying to eat everything. It is.
It is.
Yeah.
I think there's also more-
It eats my house.
I think there's also more glamour to yacht ownership because when people think I have some money to spend, what's the most glamorous, luxurious way to spend it? They go boat.
Why not
It's
bring a
coming
patio
around
to the
though,
water?
saying I have a van.
Yeah.
Right. I have a van. I sleep in it, and you can too.
Remember that Ron White bit from a couple years ago where it's about his brother? I was like, you should get a Mercedes
I got a place
Benz.
to fuck your sister.
Yep. So good. Ooh, that's an elusive creature.
That's where that bit is like 10 years old, right? So
It's older than that.
from then to now, the shift now vans are cool.
Ron
True.
White knew. He was ahead of the curve.
Yeah, now an S class is like, "Phew," and it's like now
I
van
have
is a
rain
shit.
sensing wipers. That's one of my favorite bits of all
Rain
time.
sensing.
Was the van, and also when Sears fucked up
his-
changing the wheel on the
Yeah.
Wheel, yeah.
It falls off.
It's
Falls
from the same
fuck
special,
off.
isn't it?
Yep,
It
same,
is.
same bit.
What
I think
special
it's
is that from? It's
Drunk
so
in
good.
Public. I think it's that one.
Drunk in Public.
Yeah.
That is
That was a really, really
unbelievable
good
special.
It was a really good special.
I've seen Ron just drop in at the store occasionally,
Yeah?
and it's like off the wall. He's great.
He is.
He's like, I like him and like Lewis Black.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of put in a category together. But man, does he know how to use a fucking glass of scotch and a cigar as a prop?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got that
I think
down.
out of all the blue collar comedy tour guys, he's the one that I like the best.
He's the only one I
like
really
Larry
like.
the Cable Guy is his whole shtick is just hick.
Yeah.
And the other two, Bill Engvall and Jeff Foxworthy, I don't know if you've watched their specials recently. They've just become bitter boomers.
Shocking.
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 Right? They
I thought
whining
Jeff
about,
Foxworthy was
whining
funny in
about
the 90s.
PC culture and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, it's kind of old to be whining about that now.
It's not good material.
No, it's old.
When I hear comics do it, I go, oh, dude.
Don't.
There's people that are way funnier not doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
It's not like I'm like, fuck your views. I'm like, this is not funny compared to what people are doing that are not doing this right now. You know? Yeah, don't do that. It's bad look.
It is bad.
It's a bad look. Wait, but the Bronco, did you also drive the 6?
Yes. I off-roaded the 6.
Okay. And?
Great.
Success?
Yeah, the thing off-roads like a motherfucker.
They're like- you did the same thing, right?
Well.
Yep.
I think we agreed point by point on your video, which is it's fine on the street. It's a little scary in turns because the lean is real, but
Brake dive is weird.
yeah, it is. But
It's
Really?
I was going 60 miles an hour in like a gentle left hand, and then I just touched the brakes, and it dove to the inside of the corner. Like it really moved over toward the inside, which was
That's
just
very
that was a
strange.
funky thing to have happen.
the
Otherwise,
first time it happened, it was a little scary. But you just get used to it. I feel like people who buy it will just get used to it.
yeah, you have to.
Is
Because
it
it's-
nicer to drive on the street than a Wrangler?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the steering and the front suspension.
Oh, because that's like
Absolutely.
regular steering,
It's
right?
rack and pinion.
Yeah, regular.
Which, the Wrangler's not because of the live axle, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So like that's why it's superior in that way for sure. And but I think everything these days can climb hills pretty well because of brake vectoring and torque vectoring, all that clever stuff, but mechanically it also has all the right gear.
The fucking Subaru Outback Wilderness was actually really good off-road.
We need to get one of those and
You
go
should
up
get
the
one.
trail.
Yeah,
We do this trail that is, I think it's pretty challenging for stock SUV. I mean, it's not so challenging that you're going to really get stuck in a dangerous way, but it demonstrates the capability of trucks, and we take pretty much everything up it, and there's occasionally a thing or a section that you can't do, and you back down and you go around, the side or whatever, but a lot of the, it's tough for someone who doesn't always do off-road things to talk about off-road things, because it's
I
like
was out of my element.
and unless you're doing something that's like, send it, like, just, you're not going to impress people just by being like, here's the thing that it does. And so people are always going, oh, a fucking Forester could get up that trail, or a Crosstrek or whatever.
So what?
Well,
Good for
that's
those
my
people.
point. That's true. But I also wanted to actually try it in this Outback, was the point.
What's cool about this Outback, it's a little more leany on public roads because they lifted it up. I think it's now 9.8 inches.
It's a
That
Safari
is a lot
Outback.
of ground clearance.
It is, because the normal Outback
Wow.
already has decent ground clearance, and then they lifted it more. And what's cool, I like about it, is if you notice, the front fenders are all plastic around the corners, and as are the mirrors. You can option the mirrors as plastic because they figure you're going to
So you can
scrape against
smash it into shit. Yeah. That's
They're-
the
and-
Ram ProMaster playbook.
Yes, it is. Also makes it easy to replace.
I just explained that to the wife. She saw a ProMaster camper van parked by our house. She was like, how come that one's so much uglier than the Mercedes we got? And I was like, because Chrysler thinks the people driving it are going to crash it into things. That's exactly
And they don't want
why.
the front bumper to be part of the headlight assembly.
Yeah.
But stock
This
bash
Outback
plates,
looks good.
I like it.
What are they asking for this thing? It's like high
I wanna
40s?
say almost 40, if not into the 40s. I can't remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not cheap.
That is cheap. I just drove.
It is for an
Yeah, I got a
Outback?
customer here at the shop who's got an Outback that I got in. I was like, this is so nice. A brand new one.
They ride nice.
The
Yeah.
seats were fucking
The seats are
great.
nice. The seats are
And it's
really
got the
nice.
big tablet, almost like Volvo's got. I was like, holy shit, this
The only
is
thing
great.
is they're loud on the highway. They're a little crude in that regard.
That's
But-
what you get. Yeah, Subaru, the powertrain is a little old school, and they're always been a little like tinny. Little
Yes.
tinny,
Yeah, but they were cheap. It's
Yeah.
like, look, you want all-wheel drive for less than Audi? Here's
I
what you
feel
get.
like this is it's for the.
But that
Wrangler-
infotainment stack, that is a Volvo copy, but
Yep.
in a good way.
Totally.
Right?
This is for Wrangler people who don't want to commit to a Wrangler, and now Bronco people, but they still kind of want that active potential, which I think describes many buyers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, Subaru is selling so many of these things, so clearly
Well,
it's
it's been
working.
very fashionable around here for a couple years now to take your Crosstreks and Outbacks and either lift them a little bit or just put them on oversized, rally tires, either Team Dynamics rally wheels or whatever. Like, people have been doing that shit for a minute. And actually, shout out to Wes Seiler, of all people, who did it like 5 years ago
Oh, really?
on his Outback.
Yeah.
He put big tires on an Outback years ago. And I don't think he gets enough credit, actually, for doing that.
He's
I think
smart,
he
and
did
that guy
it
does
first.
a lot of off-road,
Yeah.
outdoor stuff.
I haven't met him, but my impression of him has always been the off-road guy.
Yeah.
He's an off-road hipster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He writes
think-
for Outdoor Magazine now. I see he was on my way for the Bronco launch. But he's a seasoned off-road dude. Like,
Yeah.
he knows his stuff. He does a lot of it. Lives in Montana
We
now.
should get this. Let's get this Outback. Let's call
Okay.
Subaru
One.
and get this Outback and go try it up that trail.
Yeah.
I bet you it'll do it.
I think it will too.
The only tough part is that first section. There's about 50 yards of this trail that gives almost everything some trouble.
But I think if it's narrow enough that it doesn't dip in the hole, it'll be okay. And then you can choose the lines. Like, I don't think this has the clearance to go over the steepest stuff the G-Wagon did because
Right.
of the breakover angle. But the rest of it should be okay. And I think, to Christian's point, cars like this, if you want to go outside, but you don't need Wrangler Rubicon capability, which is what our trail really tests. Like,
Yeah.
can a normal person go on a pretty good outdoor adventure? Basically any overland trail.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're testing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And you don't want, if I was doing 95% of my driving on pavement, I would not want a Wrangler under any circumstances.
God. This is it.
Yeah, I want something that drives like a car most of the time.
The hill, I forget what Subaru calls it, but it's the hill descent brake system, pretty good. And there is a nice front-facing camera that stays on while you keep driving.
Oh, cool.
Because when you're pointed at the sky, obviously you can't see where the road goes.
I like his little fog lights in there, too. Those little roundy guys.
Yeah, they moved. So I know so much about this car. Normal Outbacks have fog lights on the outside. They moved it in closer.
It's
so
like it's like a brush guard without the guard.
So you don't fuck them up.
Yeah, it's like a built-in brush guard. That's very cool. I like that.
I like that car.
We got to get one of those.
Let's try it.
Around.
When I first saw pictures, I thought it was heinous looking, but now I understand the reason for all the plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's heinous looking. I think it's definitely like more rugged than, but the back isn't great. I don't love that rear bumper. Rear bumper's a little weird.
But function over form.
Sure. Yeah, it's tough though. I bet people will be doing some cool stuff with it. What the fuck did I just want to? I just brain farted. Totally just brain farted.
What else have you driven that you have been excited about?
I drove the new 718 Spyder a couple weekends ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
PDK or stick?
PDK.
And?
Still great.
What
PDK
color
is
was
great.
it? Gentian blue?
Yeah, of course.
It's always Gentian blue.
I didn't post a picture of it because I'm lazy, but if you go to thedrive.com, the review is up there.
That car is so delightful.
You know, the worst part of that car is trying to write anything original about it. Trying
True.
to write or say anything original about it. You get in, you're like, fuck. What's another word for great? Drives well.
That looks just like the one I had. I got the Spyder in a stick, and I got the GT4 in the PDK. And in this car, the stick is what's up. I mean, it's just like the power to weight to feel to practicality ratio is just
I know.
Beautiful.
It's perfection. They did it. It
actually is quite perfect.
Yeah.
I made a flippant comment in the comments where someone was like, "This is a lot of money for a Boxster," and I said, "I agree. Buy it used, let depreciation hit." And then everyone was like, "These things don't fucking depreciate." And I was like, "I'm sorry,
correct.
I misspoke. I'm sorry."
I incidentally happened to be looking for a client, and like 2016 Spyders, like last gen
Are
Spyders,
they still like $90,000?
$110,000. They do not depreciate, and so the fact that this one has like the GT car front shit on it,
and the brakes and
the top is really nice. Like I did 2,500 miles in the Boxster Spyder, and
going where?
do you remember my friend Carl who died, the chef Carl? I went to his memorial at Guy Fieri's house to drop it, and I just did so much driving.
It's such an easy car to drive.
Oh my God! I left my house at like 4 o'clock in the morning to go to Santa Rosa, where Guy's is, and by 9 a.m. I beat traffic in San Francisco. I was past San Francisco by 9 a.m. That's how much ground I covered in that thing.
It's like flying.
It was so great.
It's like flying. There's something magical about that chassis, and you're gonna pay for it.
But also, I think that it you get a lot for your money. You don't have to. There was the one you drove about 120.
107.
Oh, that's a pretty lower spec car,
yeah.
And so
they didn't put anything on
that's a lot of car for that money.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, myself included, think of a 911 as a $100,000 car when a 911 is really a $150,000 car now. The way that a lot of them respect.
That's the superior Porsche sports car. That
I think so. 911s are too big.
they are. The new
this has the
992.
It's big.
Big. Feels big. Have you driven one? Mm-hmm. Big.
Yeah.
We've driven all of them.
Yeah.
And I just rounded it out because I drove the Cup car yesterday at Brainerd.
Also big.
Yeah, but when you're alone on a racetrack, it doesn't matter. But fuck me. Giggity. I have a video. It is coming. We have a video. And the video they had a V-Box, so we've got a little telemetry to work with.
Cool.
in 2 sessions in the car, was not brave enough to enter turn 1 at the speed that Lee did.
I watched this video today, flat in 6th.
Do you know about
Get
Brainerd
the
International
fuck
Raceway?
out.
Where's that?
Brainerd, it's in fucking Brainerd, Minnesota.
Oh, that's
like
why you're
by
at the
Fargo.
Mall of America. Yeah, okay.
It's 2 hours north of there.
Okay.
And Brainerd International Raceway has the fastest right-hand corner in North America.
How fast are we talking?
Well, it depends what you're driving. If you're Lee Keen in a cup car, it's flat.
No.
It's flat in 6th. Here's a video. This is it.
This one right
This
here?
corner right
Coming
here.
Up?
He's taking that corner right there at 167 miles an hour. Right-hand corner.
I don't think so. I'm
Yes.
not doing that.
Look,
No.
he's at 7,000 RPM in 6th,
Yep.
8,000 RPM in 6th, 8,100, 8,200. The RPMs aren't going down.
Nope.
And then he's in the corner.
And then he accelerates after there.
I
then
did that in Forza once.
So
and then his second video, he says, "Here's what happens if you hit the bump wrong."
So there's an apron on the right side that you're supposed to put a wheel onto, and then he gets. Oof.
Oh no,
Countersteer.
no.
So
no.
that was countersteer
Oh, no.
at 165 miles an hour.
Absolutely not.
So I was not that brave. I mean, obviously, my job is to not crash.
Right.
Yeah.
So as I'm driving, I land in Brainerd. As I'm driving to the track, I get about 30 minutes from the track, and the sky turns black, and it dumps rain.
Yeah,
And I
that's what you
arrive
want.
at the track in the middle of a rainstorm.
That's what you want.
And me and Lee just look at each other just like, and he's like, all right, but it was going to stop. And so we sat there, and then we went out in my rental car and like a bunch of random cars, like 10 cars. And we ran 10 laps to dry the track in random cars.
wow.
And I got to go out on a pretty damp, but like mostly dry track, but slicks, not rain tires. So,
That sounds
for
scary.
me, yeah, I'm shitting my pants. It's like, here's a car that's got a race next weekend at Road America, and yeah, you can have a go, but like, don't fuck up, So I entered turn 1 at about 140,
That's still too fast. That
which
sounds fast.
to me which I got to 168. Brushed the brake for about a half a second and then got back in it, and that got me down to 140, and then I was able to hold that through the corner, but like I cannot imagine doing it 25 miles an hour faster than that. But this car is unreal to drive, like, because there's never been a production based Porsche that turns in like this, like
Cool.
any other Porsche I've ever driven, when you get to the actual limit of steering, this can just keep going. Like it's so crazy. It's super fast. It's really, really friendly.
What series is this racing?
Cup, Super Cup.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think you can race them in some IMSA class as well.
I only ask because I'm working on a Porsche Motorsports story right now, and my job is to break down all of the series and the cars and everything. And I felt like it was a fun exercise for myself because I don't really know a whole lot about motorsports. So I figure, it'll be a learning process for me, and also I'll write it in a way that is not talking down to people.
Yeah.
Kind of
Did
thing.
you just end up really confused?
Yeah, they sent me the one pager. It was all these cars and all these series, and I was like, I've only tangentially heard of these. So I got on a call with them, and it was like 30 minutes of me apologizing for being dumb. They're like, it's okay, it's very confusing, it's okay, it happens all the time. I was like, no, it doesn't. You're just being
It does.
nice.
It does. The names change every year, and the
Yeah.
ownership changes every year.
Yeah, series have like completely different names from year to year.
That makes me feel
sometimes.
better because
Yeah.
I thought they were just being nice.
Dude, I don't know any of them. I literally don't know any of them. Like, I just, it's not the kind of thing I pay attention to. So.
Me either. It's too far out of the realm of anything I'd be able to experience or drive that I don't really put my attention towards it.
Yeah. It's
Just not-
it's
doesn't
not your
interest
job
me.
to. Yeah. Your job is to do the thing that you're doing, and you're doing it well. But, cup cars are, race cars are amazing. It's really hard to talk and focus while you're driving that thing. You can't just narrate and also drive really fast. So
Same engine as the Street GT3, right? Except
pretty
for the
much,
exhaust.
yeah. Except for the
Crazy. It's
exhaust, it's
amazing.
the same engine as a street car, but it's got a race gearbox, a proper sequential gearbox.
Cool.
So you have to use the clutch when you come to a stop, and it kicks a bit, and it's very comfortable. It's very easy to drive. I could imagine doing a 90-minute stint in it, and it would be great. The screen, the main screen is like the best laid out screen ever. It's like the most legible race car screen I've ever seen. Like why everyone's not just doing that, I'll never know. And you can, for a factory product, it just comes like that. You don't do anything to it. It just shows up. You write a check, $300,000. Here it is, and it's got the telemetry connects with the engineer in the pits.
Oh, neat.
So you get the toolbox, right? That's got the laptop, and so you get real time data from car to there, and that just comes with it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Telemetry's. I had my first experience with that when I was at Ferrari, and we'd go out in the SF90, and then you come back in and sit with Marc Genet, who won Le Mans with Tom. What's his face?
Christensen?
Yeah, him. And, was an F1 driver and stuff. But it's so cool for them to just show you, here's what's going on. And I asked, what was the history of telemetry like for you? How was that? And he said back in, the early 90s, they'd only get telemetry after the laps were done. They'd pull in and then plug in.
Pull the memory card.
And pull a card and look at it. And then eventually it led to the live feed they have now. But he said it was interesting back in the day because they couldn't make changes live over the air like they can. Then of course that rule in F1 was banned and now all the drivers have to make the changes. So we're talking about that. He's like, it's really hard now to be a driver in new F1 cars because you have to change all the knobs and switches. Whereas
while driving
10 years ago, the engineers could just do it for you.
Remember Alexander Rossi was talking about in the IndyCar, it's like levers. You got to change the brake bias multiple times a lap. Yeah, that's crazy. Change the arrow.
No, they changed the sway bar.
Oh, the sway bars. That was the sway bars. That's what it was, not the brake bias.
The sway bar.
Yeah.
Seems backwards.
He talked us through what he had to do in one lap of an IndyCar. I was like, wow, there's actually quite a lot going on in that little fucking thing. It's
driving the car.
No.
And then you look at a windsock every lap to see what the wind is doing on that lap. That seems
and that's how
dangerous.
you choose your adjustment. It's fucking crazy.
Good. Yeah.
Really crazy.
At 220 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But
this track, Brainerd, right? Turn 1 for Lee, 165. For me, 140. Turn 2 is 120. Turn 3 is 40. So if you get in the red mist and you don't really focus on your braking, you could have a fucking big one on the exit. So there's a couple places this track that are super, super dangerous. But it is a really, really, it's imagine Watkins Glen with a NASCAR corner banked into it. Wow. That's pretty much what this place is like.
Watkins, it's cool.
It's like that. It's really fun.
When's the video come out?
Whenever we edit it, it's not like an embargo or anything. Probably next week, maybe. Cool. Whatever's up.
It.
But
I would love to see you narrate and drive this thing. That's what I
talk a little bit, but it's not. Every time I drive a real crazy race car, it takes a lot more focus than a street car. So I can't do as good a job. And Zach, by the way, my lav cable came out halfway through the lap, so. The second half won't have anything I say anyway. So when I come to a stop and conclude, you don't have to chop it out, but we'll have to do something with the audio.
Little VO to explain what happened. So it came out the bottom again.
It wasn't. I had it horizontal, but it just got vibrated out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn it.
I'm gonna order a new one of those things.
Damn it.
Sad.
Got a fitment issue.
Audio fails. It seems like we have a lot of questions.
We do.
Okay, let's get to some of them.
Great. Okay.
So far,
some are bolded.
The bolded ones are aimed at Kristen.
All right,
and
Kristen.
then the rest are just questions.
Talk to us about your C32. Joe here has a Rentec version, and he's really into it. You like your 32?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. So you remember I used to talk about the rust issue, right?
Yes.
I found a solution. I found a shop. Found a shop who's going to fix it.
Good.
Who's fixing it now, actually, as we speak. I went to go see it yesterday. The first shop was like, okay, so it's pretty much rusted all the way through. So if you guys don't remember, there's because Mercedes was idiots for some reason, at the bottom of all four doors, they made this rubber, kind of like this U-shaped thing, and the metal of the door sits on top of it. I don't know what it's for, but what happens is whenever there's moisture, it just slides down into...
I just elbowed the camera, sorry.
It slides down into the rubber, and it just sits there, so the metal of the door just sits in water.
Oh, perfect.
I saw this rust that just kind of started bubbling up from the bottoms of the doors, and I started seeing it about 7 years ago, and it was heartbreaking because I took it to one shop, and they're like, yeah, we can't just get rid of that. You'd have to get new doors. And then another shop was like, well, we can sand it down, but it's going to come back because it's rust. So this shop was like, no. We're not going to sand it down. We're not going to bond it. We're not going to do any of that bullshit. We're going to cut and fabricate it.
Good.
Cool.
So
Why can't you just get doors, though?
Yes.
That
Because-
really seems like the easiest solution.
Because
Sentimental doors.
yes, I know that sounds dumb, but yes, I like the way these ones close. But
But can't you just get doors from like a
because
like a West Coast
all
C32?
W203s have this issue, so
So there
it's-
aren't doors.
there aren't
Arizona.
doors.
Okay, continue.
But then I have to ship them and
Okay.
get over here.
So they're going to patch it and fabricate it.
Yeah, and-
but what do they do going forward? Can you just remove this stupid channel?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I went over there yesterday, because he called me and he was like, I want you to come over here and I want you to see what I'm doing. I was like, okay. So I went over there and he had pulled them out and you can see the rust inside it. He's like, yeah, that's part of your door in there. I don't know what the fuck they're for. I said, well, if you don't know what the fuck they're for, maybe we don't need them. Is the door still watertight if we close it and this is not there anymore? And he said, yeah, it's still watertight. It's fine. I was like, well, pull them all the fuck off.
It's probably just a way for them to join the pieces of metal so they can manufacture it in like a bunch of different parts.
Maybe it's for
But
NVH reasons.
Could be insulation, sound insulation, just additional NVH
We've made the
stuff.
metal taco, which
Yeah.
we've learned in hindsight holds water, which is
Right.
bad.
So he's just going to pull all those off, and he's going to fabricate in the new bottoms of the doors. And I was like, was the rust bad? He was like, no, it wasn't that bad. Tremendous weight off my shoulders.
Good.
I feel so much better
That's
about
good.
it. You know, it's-
Save the car.
When you drive a car that you love, but there's something a little bit wrong with it, it's just always there at the back of your head, and it's just like that tag at the back of your T-shirt. It's always just kind of scratching at you. It's gone now.
Good.
the way to
Yay.
say it. I'm so
C32. Yay. Ray Lee wants to tell you that love the APPI Heritage Month coverage on the drive. You did do a fabulous job with that. Nice job.
That was great.
Any other bold ones?
No.
Okay, let's just go to the basics. Kevin says lighter wheels will improve your handling, but would lighter wheels also improve ride quality? It's an interesting concept.
Depends on your suspension, I think.
I think that depends on your suspension.
Because the wheel would be more reactive to whatever bump it may hit if it's lighter.
Right, but it would have less inertia coming up. Although that might be inverse to that sounds like an engineer question. In my personal experience, it doesn't affect ride quality. Having driven cars on the same car on a metal wheel and then like a carbon wheel, for instance, the ride quality isn't affected by that in a way I could notice.
I just drove a Civic Type R limited edition, so it had those forged BBS wheels. Fine. It was fine. I haven't driven a regular Civic Type R.
I mean, they're unless you were to drive them back to back, it's not
Yeah.
immediately noticeable that there's a difference.
No, I don't think so.
If you did, you would know. But like, I don't think lighter wheels have any downside unless their being light somehow compromises their strength, right? They would have to be very strong, and that means forged or whatever. But I can't think of any downside to having a lighter wheel, unless it's not physically strong enough to handle your car anymore.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Bertha says, "What are the best jobs in the auto or adjacent industries that you've run into? Considering pay, lifestyle, perks, etc. Who in the industry has the best jobs? I mean,
I only have insight into us.
yeah, I know journalists and
PR
PR people.
the PR people seem to have a pretty good gig.
Yeah.
They get to go on all the press trips. You know, they get to go to the locations. They get to manage and spec out the fleets.
True.
They get to decide who gets and doesn't get cars. They have the keys to the kingdom.
But they also have to escort drunk journalists.
That
That part.
they may like that. That could be fun.
Once
for
a
them.
month, they have to be a camp counselor.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit. I think
Maybe PR people.
PR people probably have a pretty good gig.
Yeah.
Well, I think we see the revolving door because there are journalists who then go work for PR, and then after a while they go back and forth.
That's because PR makes a lot more money.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, PR makes more money, but a lot of them they miss the cool trips outside their brand. That's the thing about PR is you know, if you work for Porsche, you never get to go on the G-Wagon off-road through the forest trip. So
having
after a while, you
done
might want
6
some
months
variety.
of PR at the very bottom of the ladder, I can tell you it fucking sucks. But once you make it up to the level where
when you're in PR management, it's different.
when you're hanging out with the journalists, you get to be at the bar, you get to come on the trips, then it gets fun. But if you're on the bottom of the rung and you're setting up the trip and making all the phone calls and the arrangements, and then you don't get to go to the party, that part sucks.
The in-house, like the people that call themselves powertrain engineers, but they're really just like racing drivers that can do math. They seem to really enjoy their jobs.
The Ford guys, Ford always brings those guys onto their sports car launches. Those guys have the best job.
Yeah, they seem to have a good time with the.
You take it out on the track or the off road, and you bring it back, and they're like, "So how was it?" And you're like, "It's really fast," and they're like, "I know, right?
Yes.
I made it."
You know, there's folks that get to do dynamic driving all over the world.
Yeah.
You know, hot and cold climates. You know, Porsche does global testing. That seems very interesting. And you know, I haven't heard of like even like, you know, the executives make a lot of money and like, oh, like Porsche, if you're like in the Porsche family or like a very top rung at Porsche, they'll build you cars that don't exist.
Oh, that's cool.
Like it just came up for sale recently. There's a fucking Targa 4, I forget if it's a Targa 4S or a convertible 4S that from factory has a GT3 RS engine in it.
What?
Made it to the all-wheel drive. It came up for sale. They'll build you that if you're somebody.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, so that's a pretty good perk.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But other than like, those are some of the best. I mean,
I think
perks.
every job has pros and cons.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how much money do you want to make versus how much responsibility do you want? And
I mean, in my job now, I can think of plenty of pros and cons
Yeah.
with every job.
Our job perks are pretty great.
They're pretty fucking great.
Yeah. If all you do is automotive journalism and you don't have like another income producing gig, you know, the downside is the pay can be not so great, especially until you're very experienced. But like the perks, you know, if you're into cars, having a new one dropped off at your house every week is pretty fucking sick. That's about the best job perk I've ever fucking heard of.
I know.
And there's some folks who they're not like, they don't necessarily call themselves journalists. They have websites where they do car coverage and boat coverage and private jet coverage and resort. You know, the best job perk, forget automotive. If you're like a successful travel blogger.
Travel influencer.
Oh my God.
Where you don't even have to blog anything. You just Instagram it.
I mean, what a great scam. That's an unbelievable scam.
That's a good hustle.
Yeah, if you have no home and no need for one, that's your move.
I think maybe pandemic fuck with that a little bit.
Probably, yeah. A&HD says, I'm replacing my Fiesta ST. I don't mind going automatic only as I have another manual car. Should I get an insanely low mileage 06 Mini Cooper S daily and a rear-wheel drive weekend car, or a Veloster N with a dual clutch?
Oh, actually, I can answer this question because I just had that car.
Okay.
Good car, A+.
It is a good car. Veloster N DCT?
Yeah.
It's a nice car. Yeah.
Rides kind of hard, seats garbage, but
The
fun.
manual rides a little better because it has a little less weight in the nose.
We just talked about this, and Zach and I, when we went to get coffee this morning, that doesn't surprise me. And it's also something that did not occur to me.
Okay, so question. Brand new car, one car with warranty, or two cars, both of which are old and out of warranty.
One of which is a Mini.
One of which is a Mini, and the other one is a Boxster, which is known for being very expensive to maintain when they get old. If you don't have the stones to maintain two notoriously unreliable and expensive old European cars, I would get the one new Korean car.
That has warranty.
That's a warranty.
Yeah.
I like both of those cars. I like a Boxster. I like the FRS. I like the 06 Mini is the pinnacle of Mini. The last year, the supercharged cars, they rule. If you find an 06 JCW with low miles, buy it.
Before it blows up.
Before it blows
it
up.
shakes itself apart.
Yeah.
Make sure the doors work.
Yeah.
Like Thad's did not.
Mine was good. I never had any problems with my Mini.
How many miles did you drive it to?
I sold my Mini 100 miles before the warranty ran out.
Right.
I sold it with 49,900 miles on it.
Yeah, his had 66, and man, did it feel like 300.
Yeah, it was his had a hard life.
Yeah.
His was tough. Adam says 3 years ago, I told him, well bought on my $18,000 2006 Cayman S. Recently sold it for $24,000. Well sold. I mean, 3 years and a plus 50% on your Cayman? That's fucking well bought and well sold. Got a 991.1 C2S. Very nice. That's
Cool.
a come up.
Yeah.
That's a come up. Good job, Adam. Well bought, well sold, and well bought again.
I have a feeling the 991.1s are going to be collector's items, just like air-cooled Porsches. You know,
Because no turbos.
yeah, no turbos, last generation.
They're great unless you drive one back to back with a turbo car. And then you're like, oh my God, this turbo car would walk this thing so
Yeah.
fucking fast. John Aman says, I'm going to be going to look at my first cheap classic today. It's a 1977 Jaguar XJ Coupe with a Chevy V8 swap.
boy.
California car. Didn't fucking Tanner Faust come in here talking about one of them? Didn't he have one for
Maybe.
Top Gear or something and then bought it and kept it?
Possibly, I don't remember.
I think it was a Jag XJ with a 350, and it was just kind of worked.
Yeah, it should. I mean, Magnus, we filmed those for season 1 of Next Big Thing.
Yeah.
The XJ, which he really likes, but the engines can be, well, look at Jeff Glucker's Instagram and you'll learn.
My
what the
dad had
engines
a 1986 XJ, new, bought it new. Always loved the Jags, and this was, I think, it was one of his first big paychecks, big pay bumps. He got this Jag, and it was in the shop for 9 months of the first year in Lemon, and they bought it back at Lemon.
Wow, that sucks. But for this, if you're buying a car with a swap, test every bit of it.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Make
It's like
sure
you're
it
buying
works
someone's
in
project
reverse
car.
and drive. Like, that sounds dumb, but geez, like, there shouldn't be vibrations.
Right.
There shouldn't be clunks when you accelerate. Don't let them go, yeah, it does that sometimes.
Yeah.
It
I
needs
mean,
to
on the
just
other
drive like a
hand,
car.
being not a Jaguar powertrain should be an improvement.
I agree.
If
I mean,
it's
those are
done-
pretty bulletproof motors for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But just check.
Well,
I would
the
lo-
Jag engine's pretty good. We went and saw this Jag shop. He's like, the block and the pistons are good, but the electronics are bad.
It's Lucas.
And
It's all Lucas shit.
and they mounted some of the wires on top of the engines to get hot and they melt. Like, look at the wiring and make sure that's all done. Make sure it's been upgraded.
Yeah, yeah. I would love an XJS with like a basic 5.3 LS and an automatic.
Yep.
Like out of a Tahoe.
That'd be cool.
Basic. Just to sit,
a chillin'
just a
engine.
cruise and an
Yeah.
ice cold air conditioning.
Yeah.
I would roll that. That'd be awesome. Lee's says, is there a way to make the Father's Day drive what I expected it to be? I don't think so. There was a Father's Day thing, and they pitched it as sort of like, oh, we're closing down all the lights. But then they did close the lights, but then we went 5. Parade speed. 5, by the way. Yeah. So I think no, it is what it is. People on the side of the road had a good time. But
Yeah.
I don't
there
think
you
you
go.
can I don't think you can change that event. I think you
put
can
on a
only
parade.
understand what it is.
Put on a parade.
We put on a parade. Next time I'll bring a car with an automatic.
Delica.
Yeah, right.
Delica, have a picnic in the
Delica
back.
shaggin' wagon, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I am your God 76. Great username. Love it. I've only driven E39s for the last 12 years. An E39 enthusiast. This year, I bought an E90. I love it. Oh boy, hang on a second. He wants to know, long story short, should he replace his E39 530i with an E60? Or should I look elsewhere?
I don't know anything about those cars other than I like the way the E60 looks.
I think they're underwhelming in most ways. Even the M cars are underwhelming in many ways. I'm not that into them. I'd rather own a great E39 than an E60.
The V10,
Yeah.
underwhelming.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It sounds good, but that's it.
Okay.
You have to rev the shit out of it to make any power. The gearboxes are terrible. They burn crazy amounts of oil.
They do. It's
and they're
true.
insanely expensive to maintain. Now, I'm only talking about the M cars. The regular cars are just, fine.
fine.
They're fine, but they don't do it for me. Look elsewhere? Yeah, you could look at a 2015 Chevy SS. Manual.
Yep.
Oh,
Mag
I forgot
ride.
about that
Yeah.
car.
Delightful.
Oh, I forgot about that car.
Yeah,
for
get a little
second.
fucking whipple on that bitch. Now
Those
you're
are
moving.
great. They look good too. Outside.
do look
Interior,
handsome.
it's fine. But
I
yeah.
was just sitting at a red light the other day, and I heard it. I was like, what the fuck? I don't see no hot rods. And I looked past the rental car on my right and just saw the nose of a champagne-colored SS. And I was like,
Champagne color?
Champagne.
Wow.
JRG, bro. Jewish Racing Gold.
No.
It was good. By the way, in case you're wondering, because I had some free time at the airport this morning, what it costs to paint a GT3 Touring in JRG?
Don't do it.
$12,800.
JRG is a crap color. I hate it. It looks like shit on everything.
Except on the Lexus
Even when I see it on a
RX300.
Camry, I'm like, why did you do that to a Camry? 96 Camry, what are you doing? Why would you hurt that car?
I like
was
it
so
on a
popular.
1999
I know.
Lexus RX 300.
Yes, that's the perfect place for that color.
Only place.
Yeah. Mike Lamb, the 600 horsepower garage, unlimited space and unlimited budget.
How much horsepower does the LFA have? 500?
LFA? It's
Yeah.
in the fives.
Fives? Okay, so an LFA and then what has 100 horsepower?
A K car. It's a cappuccino.
There.
A Honda Acti.
Not a bad idea.
There you go.
600 horsepower garage.
553. Oh, that only leaves me
Ooh.
50.
You need
Golf
a K
cart.
car. No, K car.
All right, K kart. K
A
kart.
GT3 Touring and a Delica.
You're already close to that.
That covers most pieces. Yeah, I am pretty
Yeah.
close to that.
I think you got to go, like a diesel 4Runner. And then I need something with 500 horsepower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Hunter says, considering buying a BMW 330i ZHP. One recently sold for $28,000. Are they going to continue to go up, or will they go back down in a year or two?
I feel like we can't ask questions about the market right now because the market's fucked up.
It's stupid. It's a terrible time to buy things.
Yeah.
You should
Buy
not.
anything.
Yeah, if you don't need a car or a watch
house.
right now or a house, don't.
Don't do it.
And if you have extra cars or watches or houses that you're not using, sell. Now is the time. Look, $28K, I don't know about value. If I wanted to invest $28K into a car, there's safer bets than a 330 ZHP.
I agree.
And if I wanted to buy an E46 for $28,000, I could find an M3.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Just get the M3.
You can find an E46 M3 that's in totally decent shape for $28,000 bucks, and you should. ZHP I've driven. It's actually a very nice car.
Yeah.
But it's not a $30,000 driving experience, and it's not an investment grade.
No.
And
And I
I
were 15 2 years ago.
yeah, and if one sold for 28, that's not the market. That might be
That's the
that might be
outlier.
someone's grandma's car that had 8,000 miles on it.
Yeah,
you know
or
what
it's
I
to
mean?
bring a trailer bump.
Yeah.
Like, buy it from somewhere else. It'll cost you 22.
Yeah, right. Prashanth says Giorgetto Giugiaro designed 5 different Daewoos. I didn't know this.
I didn't know that either.
The Lanos, the Laganza, the Magnus, the Kalos, and the Lissetti, which means that Hannah was actually a Giugiaro dealer. My wife in college, the Daewoo's marketing scheme was like a pyramid scheme to get college students to sell them to other college students. And
Really?
and Hannah was a Daewoo dealer when she was like a sophomore in college and sold like 3 or
got
4
her.
Daewoos. Yeah. They gave her a
It's like
demo.
The original MLM.
They gave her a demo, like a super loaded, whatever the most expensive car they made, she drove, and she convinced like 3 or 4 of her friends to buy
Incredible that you
Daewoos.
two found each other.
I know, right?
So perfect.
So this is the Magnus.
Yeah.
Oh,
Looks like a Mirage.
Gosh.
George Giugiaro had some stinkers, huh?
And
That's not
here's
good.
the Lissetti.
Oh, I know the Lissetti. The Lissetti is a terrible vehicle. I think the Lissetti, the Lanos is what she got her friend to buy. Ugh, these are so much shit boxes. All right, moving on. Scouting for Zen says loves Kristen.
Oh, no, I know Scouting for Zen. Hello.
And how does the movie Redline compare to the Fast and Furious movies?
Redline is like you're drunk and looking for some greasy chicken fingers. And Fast and Furious is what you're like, okay, this is a nice evening. I'm going to share it with my partner. Let's watch something funny and dumb. Redline, you're like drunk on like shit whiskey.
Redline's a bad movie.
It's a terrible
You mean the one where they wreck all the fake cars, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That fucking movie.
It's a bad movie.
Do you know my Redline story is, I think that movie came out in 2007, and the guy I was dating at the time also was a huge gearhead, and he was like, I want to watch Redline. I had no idea what the movie was, so we went to the local Blockbuster to find it. They didn't have it to rent, they had it to buy. we bought it. I own Redline.
On VHS.
No, it's on DVD.
Oh, okay.
It's on DVD.
VHS really
The
would
movie
have
poster's
solidified that.
quote is "hot cars and hotter women."
Hell yeah!
That's the best line they could pull out of that. Wow.
Oh my God, what a terrible... The bigger the run, the faster the rush. That's
man,
awful.
there's that one scene, I don't know if you remember this, there's that one scene where the shithead is driving the SLR McLaren and he has to make, I think it's Vegas to, I think it might be here in 2 hours or something. So he turns off all the lights and he has night vision goggles on and he's driving through the desert with night vision goggles
It's
on.
terrible. All of it's awful. What was that last one there, Zach? I missed what you were. Oh, Micah says, ordered a ZL1 1LE manual for a fun weekend car with occasional track driving, not a daily. Replacing a Golf R. I'm going to get PS4 tires for the street. Any other recommendations? That's a really, really fast car.
A radar detector.
Yeah, go to offtherecord.com and
that.
be ready.
Bookmark that.
That's a really, really fast car.
Fast
Good
fucking
car.
I like many things about it, and it doesn't need fucking anything. I was just talking about this because I was with Lee Keen yesterday. One of, if not the most scared I have ever been in a car was at VIR 3 years ago in a pissing downpour with Lee. Mike Spinelli was there. JF was there. We were filming the tail end of Drive on NBC Sports, whatever that was. And I was driving the ZL1 1LE, but there's water all over the track.
Yeah, that's what
and
you
Lee
want.
was like, let's go drive the track. I'm like, okay. And Lee drove one of the most raging, aggressive laps I've ever seen in the wet with no grip. Car never had any grip. He's spinning the wheels. He's sliding it under braking. The ABS is losing its fucking mind. He is totally calm. I was absolutely terrified. About an hour after that, he made Spinelli throw up.
He did. Legit.
In a Giulia.
Legit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Lee, yeah, he was on a fucking tear that day. I've never been so scared. I tapped out. I don't tap out at fucking anything. I tapped out of that. MDK Kaiser wants sketchy stories from press launches. I mean, the sketchiest one I can think of was for the Lexus RCF launch in New York. And
What year was that?
Maybe 2015 or 16. They paired me with a Mexican radio host.
Okay.
Who hosted she was like this fiery Latina that hosted this Mexican morning show on what was apparently a very popular station in Mexico City. Okay, whatever. She didn't know anything about cars. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. They're like, Matt, would you help her out, because we were driving from White Plains.
They put that on you?
No, we were driving to the track. And so they were like, can you ride with her and she'll ask you some questions and whatever, and then you'll get some extra track times. Fine, whatever. Her driving was so scary that I made her stop. And I was like, you need to pull on the highway. Yeah. Oh. She did this where she rested her elbows on the bottom of the wheel and her hands on the top of the wheel and was driving like that. And then she would ping pong between 60 and 100 miles an hour, not really being aware of the fact that she was constantly changing speeds and stuff. And I was literally texting Thaddeus, who was in, I think it was my mom's Audi, following us up there to be a cameraman. I was like, I feel like I'm going to die right now. This is really, really sketchy. I eventually was like, listen, it's time for me to drive now. I was trying to be really nice.
Yeah.
The whole time, what do I say to make this person stop without losing her mind? And eventually she did, and I drove, and I was like, oh, thank God. And I just started feeding her lines about the car that she wrote down, and I fed her an entire review of the car, which she then probably read in Spanish on the radio station.
Good.
But
Help someone out.
That was the sketchiest thing I can remember.
I'm trying to remember. It's quite honestly been so long since most press launches that I can't remember.
People have crashed stuff. I mean, I've been on press launches where someone's crashed something.
I haven't been on one where someone's crashed something.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Of course, they're asking us to drive cars very fast in places that we don't know.
Yeah,
of course it happens.
But by and large, I don't. I mean, there's only a couple of people I'll actually share a car with, so I've insulated myself from sketchiness. One of which is Kristen.
I've
shared 3 or 4 cars with you.
You're not coming on the Blackwing launch.
I asked the GM people, and I just don't think it's in the cards. I think I'll have to wait until I do it. But I'm doing 86. Are you doing 86?
Patrick George is doing 86.
Okay, yeah.
So
At
you'll see him up there.
Monticello.
And then, but we're supposed to hang out that.
Well, aren't we going to go to Planet Hollywood?
Yeah.
We're supposed to go to Planet Hollywood.
Yeah, we'll go to Planet
There
Hollywood.
was a Twitter thread about Planet Hollywood in New York, and this is kind of embarrassing, but I used to spend a lot of time there in high school.
All right, for you, I will go to Planet Hollywood.
I didn't even know it was still open, frankly.
We'll check.
Is it still open?
I don't know. I haven't been there.
It was really cool in the 90s.
Where are you staying?
At my parents' house.
Oh, so is it easy to get down to the city from
Yeah.
there? Okay.
It's no problem.
Okay.
You have cars and trains. It's no big deal.
All
It's
right.
easy, man. It's easy.
I might make a game time change and be like, let's go to an actual bar.
You don't want to drink like giant fish bowls of like blue things?
We've got that in Brooklyn.
We went to this last night. We went to the bar, me and Adam and Colette was like, you could tell she's been in Florida for a little too long. She's like, we need to eat somewhere fancy. She's like, I came from California. We live in buttfuck nowhere, Florida. She's like, I want avocados and I have a martini. She's like, we're gonna go somewhere nice. So we go somewhere nice, and she orders this like blue drink, and I was like, she's like, taste this. I taste like. It tastes like vodka and blue.
Yeah, it tastes like Jimmy Buffett.
I can't drink those. Oh, man.
She was into it, man.
I can't.
She went a couple rounds on the blue drink. She was a champ.
I'm past the point of sugary alcohol now.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore because I'm old.
She's in her 20s. Yeah,
I am too, but apparently it's exponential. Your age.
It's on a logarithmic scale.
When you're in your 20s.
Bro, when I hit 35, I started getting insanely hungover. My hangovers got fucking terrible. I can't drink anymore hardly like I used to.
That's why it's great whenever you do your birthday party. Hannah's like, okay, everyone here at 4, everyone out 10.
She knows.
And I was like, yes,
the wife
girl.
knows me. Yeah.
Yes.
Grab a Gatorade on the way out, go to bed.
Yeah. Afternoon
Amazing.
parties are the shit. You can still get up and go to work the next day.
Amazing.
Yeah. Anything we need to promote? The drive?
The drive, I am month 3 into being deputy editor at thedrive.com, and it has been wonderful. I've gotten to know everyone a lot better. There has been a really, really good report on you guys' new emissions bullshit that's going on. Yeah, Rob Stump did a really good report on that recently, which everyone should read. Just go to the Drive and you'll find it. And he really broke it down for readers because it is convoluted and it's confusing, and I think it's supposed to be confusing.
I think the more confusing it is, the benefit that the state has, actually, if people don't understand it.
What's frustrating is it means well, because I also care about the environment and I think we should do something about it. But this seems like it puts the onus on the consumer, because easily they could be like, hey, the automakers are the ones polluting, let's go after them. But instead they're like, yeah, if you tune your car at all now, they move the goalpost. Before, a car that could have passed, now it doesn't pass.
Yeah.
And it also means if you bought a car that has been tuned, you also have to pay to detune it, even though you had nothing to do with prior tuning. So it just seems like it just seems like the consumers are paying for it. The
quote in the article was that the automakers breached the trust first.
Yes.
And so by finding ways to cheat in the computer system, they should have known that our response was going to be to check the computers, which I suppose is fair, except they're not targeting the automaker, they're targeting the consumer after the car has been sold.
Which is the whole thing. Like, there's this report where I think most of the world's greenhouse gases comes from 100 companies or something, right?
Yeah.
Yet we're the ones that can't use plastic bags anymore,
Of course.
can't use straws anymore, got to get electric cars. It's like,
It's called a distraction.
Yeah.
It's not our fault.
No, but it's a very effective strategy by saying, well, we need to recycle and we need to reduce our and meanwhile, people are actually getting very, very rich off of stripping these resources and telling all the people like us that we need to change our behaviors.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It's fucked.
Yeah, we had Gareth from the Dollop on last week, so we went off on these tangents like this.
Yeah,
Can't wait to see the comments on that one.
No kidding.
Lefty politics trigger warning coming in.
That's-
No,
you
I
guys
love
should read
what
that
you've
story. It's really good.
what you've been doing on the drive. I read it on the plane this morning. He did a great job.
He's
Yeah.
wonderful. Rob is wonderful. Everyone should read Rob. And a second thing I've been super proud of is we have been publishing Victoria Scott's van life series, where
yeah.
it's called the Vans Continental Express, and it documents her driving across the country in a 1995 Toyota Hiace, and
She came through
came
and
through.
visited.
Yeah, I
and hung
heard.
out. Yeah. It was fun.
I'm
I
very,
signed the
very-
van.
Oh, good. I'm glad you signed the van.
I did. I signed. Yeah, she's having people sign like a panel, and it's like I replaced a window with some like wood panel or something.
Yeah, so we're running.
It's a pretty cool van, actually.
I think so.
Cool looking van.
Yeah, and it's like longer than the Delica, so it's better for like living in.
It's got more rear overhang, it looks like. Yeah.
And it's more like it's like road oriented. It's not like an off road van.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like that Victoria chose us to run this series. She said that we are the ones that she trusted to have the story told the way that she wanted it to, which was very, very
Oh, that's
nice to
sweet.
hear. It was very nice to hear. So that's kind of what we're up to at the drive. We're trying to tell stories that no one else is telling, obviously, but also be more inclusive in the automotive landscape, because it is very, very monochromatic. And for people who aren't white men, it can be intimidating. So if we can elevate voices that are different and diverse, then hopefully it will encourage more people to contribute, speak up, join us, whatever.
I like it. I'm about it. Thanks for coming in, dude. It's always good to
Thanks
see you.
for having me.
Are you working or are you in town? What are you doing?
There's a launch tonight.
Oh, are you allowed to talk about it? What is it?
It's the Genesis GV70,
GV. Oh,
the 3 Series competitor.
Oh,
The one
wait.
David Patterson showed up in.
Oh, GV, not GV8,
GV70.
which is the smaller one, 5-seat.
Yeah,
SUV,
well, the
crossover?
The GV80 also is 5-seat, I believe.
Actually, I mixed up. He didn't show up in this, my bad.
No, he
Yeah,
showed
yeah,
up in
that's
the.
He showed up in the G70.
No, the G70 is the sedan.
Yes.
The GV80 is the SUV. This
Yeah.
looks like a crossover.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
So the GV indicates
SUV.
SUV. Yeah, you got it.
Oh, it's pretty nice looking.
Yeah, right?
Their shapes are good right now.
What, can we get an interior photo, Zach? What does it look like on the inside? Do we know
Probably
yet?
Awesome.
It does?
Probably. I haven't seen it.
The only thing I don't like, the interior of the GV80. Oh, that's a nice looking vehicle.
Yeah.
The GV80 looks great except for the football steering wheel, which drives me
I
insane.
didn't like the steering wheel.
Exterior looks good. Keep going. Oh, there's a football steering
football
wheel.
steering
Oh wait,
wheel.
but look, there's a
No, it's round.
tri-spoke, but maybe it's
look
optional.
at that.
That's really nice.
Oval
That
thing.
oval.
That's good.
That's like almost Bugatti-esque.
A little bit.
in that shape there.
Yeah.
That's really
This is
that looks
that's
great.
a nice bit of design. Oh, and look where they've put the cup holders on the other side of the console, so it's not blocking your hand from doing the things. That's
the one
smart.
complaint I had about the Civic Type R.
The cup holder placement.
As soon as you shift, your elbow hits the water bottle.
You want something to complain about the GT3 Touring?
Yeah, what?
You cannot put anything bigger than one of these mini bottles in the cup holder without it completely blocking the shifter. The shifter's right next to
Dehydrated
The
drivers
ones they had in
only.
the dashboard.
That was a
are like
perfect
the best
design.
cup holders
little
ever.
T-Rex
The 718
ones?
still has it.
Yeah, they do.
The 718 we
Yeah.
drove, or the Cayman, sorry. That's such a good design. Keep it forever.
This one?
Yeah, it pops out when you
And
need it,
it's
and when you
adjustable?
don't. And
Yeah.
it holds
Yeah.
like large bottles of water.
I
It's great.
love that design.
People don't
Great.
understand that when you fold them out, you have to put the flap back up.
Yes, you
so
have
it
to.
doesn't flop around. They're like, it flops around. It's like, no, you put.
That's why
lock
the
up.
thing is segmented, so
Yes.
you can put it up.
Exactly. Kristen Lee on Instagram. There's eight E's.
8 E's. It's
Kristen, and then an L with 8 E's after
the
it.
verified one.
You take very good
Oh,
photos.
yes.
Very good photos.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to see see a feed that looks like a car enthusiast feed and not like a fucking booth chicks feed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Selfie
I know what you
free.
mean. No
Selfie
selfies.
free.
There's
Pictures
only
of
one.
cars.
There's only one photo of me.
And these are
Your
cool.
shit's artsy too.
These are cool. You're doing this like
I
miniature
did.
Oh,
stuff.
the
I did-
miniatures.
I did that
That's
for a
rad.
story in the Motoring Journal for Andrew Manis. It was about diecast models.
It's diecast models, but done at funky scales. I used to do that when I was a kid. When
Just
I was
take pic- it's
when I was a
great.
kid, I'd put models like in weird places like this and take photos of them like that.
It's such great practice
Yeah.
for shooting actual cars, and you get to mess around with a lot more fun angles.
The techniques are literally exactly the
They
same.
are exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah, it's very cool. Well, you're one of the very few people that I enjoy sharing a car with on press launches.
I
So
know.
I'm glad
I
you could
can't
come
wait
back
to
and visit.
have one. So Zach and I have this system where if one of us gets an invite, we're like, "Hey, are you on this one?"
I tried with the Blackwing; it just didn't work out.
So now, whenever I get one, I'll text both of you like, "Hey, are
Let
you
us
going
know.
to be on this one?"
Yeah. Where can you bring the GV80 by 70?
No, it's one of those. We have a trip planned
it's a route.
for you. Yeah, it's a
They're gonna send your ass to Big Bear.
Santa
They always
Barbara.
do. They make.
Santa Barbara,
Oh, yep. Are you gonna stay overnight up there?
and then fly home from there. So this is
Oh, it's a
literally my
one-wayer.
one day.
So one wayer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, have fun.
It'll be good.
I'm glad you could join us for your
It'll be
one
good.
day.
Got some friends on the launch, which is really
Oh, good.
nice.
It'll be fun.
It'll be good to see people
All right.
again.
Well, tell them that your boys over at the Smoking Tire said hi. Do we
you
have
for
another
having
show
me.
this week, Zach?
I don't think so.
It's a busy week, isn't it?
I go to Grid Life Thursday,
Oh, yes.
and we
Isn't Larry
we
Chen gonna
drive.
be there?
Oh, we drive the
I
thing
think so.
tomorrow.
Everyone's gonna be there. We drive the thing
We're driving
tomorrow.
the Baja 911 tomorrow.
Ooh,
Yeah. TJ Russell. That's going to be so sick. It's very exciting.
it'll be good.
Very, very exciting. All right. Kristen Lee, one of our favorite people. Thank you for joining us, ma'am. It's been a pleasure. And the red nails are working.
Thanks. I did them yesterday.
Keep that shit up.
Did them yesterday because I
Fiery.
knew I was
The
going to have
guards red?
No, it's whatever. Was
Why don't
cheap.
they? Does Porsche sell nail polish in
should.
their shop yet?
I get gentian blue.
Jen Nicole would be all fucking over that. Why does Jen Nicole not sell Porsche nail polish? She really should be.
You know what's cool is this is from Crash Jewelry, and she makes bracelets out of car metal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
that is cool.
this is from a G wagon, I think. This
Oh,
is metal
really?
from a G wagon. She put the octopus on.
That's
obviously.
rad. I like that. I like the subtle when this connection is not overt.
Yeah,
that's very good.
She gets like scrap metal from supercars, so you can get Lamborghini cuffs and
fun.
Ferrari cuffs and everything like
There's
that.
some company that's building watch cases out of crashed cars too, but it wasn't my vibe. I like that.
Vibe?
I
Yeah.
like that. That's very good. All right, folks, have a great rest of your week. I know we will because we're gonna go drive the fucking Baja 911. That's the shit. See you later. Bye.